So any questions from the previous session?
So the stuff you asked us to do, there is a problem with the error coming for the company code.
Which company code?
Hold on 1 second. So the last company code, I think, is KZ01. If you try to do the, change to the primary account, it won't let us. It's giving the warnings.
Let me see. This error?
Yeah, if you change that error, there's some other issue. So if you put the short text and long text in there.
The warning is okay. SAP gives some messages, that's okay.
Okay, so I try to change some of them with the warning.
Okay, warning is okay. It should not be an error. So now this should be okay. I changed it. Okay. Let's move to the topic. PRO. We completed migration of accounting documents to Universal GAE. Okay, so this is the one we have to do, migrate balances. Same thing, you have to run the job, and then it is green, no error as of now.
So can we go back and check the previous jobs we ran? What's the status on those?
Let me see. So there are some finished. The enrichment is finished. You see, this is green. This we did last class. Enriched transactional data. This is finished with green message. Then this is also finished. You see, all jobs are finished which were there last time.
Oh, so why should we see some reds there?
So that's okay, One is cancelled, then again it was second time it was run. It was the same job. MIG UJ doc. So it was like, I think we run in Delta run first, then SAP denied, then we run in the current run, and then it got finished. That's okay. This last one should be finished. Like here, This one is the key, these two. Enrich transactional data and fill company codes in CO totals. These two are main. Early watch is okay. Early watch doesn't impact. Although this is still waiting, but this is something not required for us. Early watch is for technical team basically. They put the early watch, or SAP put the early watch in the system. Okay, so we just did. It is completed. The one we just did. Migration of balances. It is finished with green sign.
So just because we don't have any data, that's why it's taking so, is finishing
so
up.
That's why it is quick. But in terms of configuration and all, this system is fine.
But Nathan, we need to create a data and see that, right?
So
because we're just running, we're just migrating the empty system here.
So the issue with the data is system is already on Simple Finance, and while it was built at that time, there should be some data. Then these steps you could have seen, more accurately. If we put some data now, it will go to Simple Finance table. It will not go to new GL table. But from technical perspective, yes, every step which we are running is showing that from migration perspective overall, the system is fine, and migration is working fine. Otherwise, it could have stopped at any point.
My point is, if it's an empty system, we're just following the steps, customizing steps from IMG without any data, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, so before migration, after migration, how are we going to validate anything? Because we don't even have a data.
So after migration, you can post documents and you can see how it is updating the new table. If your new data is going fine in the right table, then your existing data should also go to the same table. That's one of the key three checks. Your new data should be going, it's not only about the migrated data. If you post any new transaction, it should go to the new table. If that is some issue or SAP stops you, like, Kiran was trying to post and it was giving regenerate CDS views every time it was stopping. If those errors are coming, then there is some issue. But if the data is getting posted correctly and it is going to the right table, which is at Docker, with all the fields getting updated in the table, then it should be fine. Because if your new data is going fine, then your existing should also be fine. If there is some issue with the system or data, then SAP will not allow you to post the new data. It will hang up somewhere. Like previously it was happening. We tried to post, Kiran tried to post, but it was saying regenerate CDS view. So then we post something and then it got finally posted in the right table, and we validated the table as well. All the document numbers and everything.
The truth now is to try to post some data into the system. Then it will take a new table in consideration in the middle of the migration. We are in the middle of the migration, right? We are checking all the things. So suppose we insert, add some data into the system.
So we have already completed the migration. We are not in the mid. We are just migrating the balances now. Customization is done. So if you see, we posted a transaction last for asset, and that transaction is going to the new table now. So it means the migration is done and new tables are getting updated.
Listen, can you draw a visual or something to try to explain this? How the previous ECC data structure was, and how is the new structure is? At least from that perspective, I'm trying to understand, because I didn't even see, you didn't even show us, you know, because, you know, how the previous data was, you know, migrating to, right? How the new system looks like.
So the only change is, you know, if you are asking for a video, the only change is in the table.
No, I'm not talking about SAP document. I want you to explain me, draw a video, right? You know, like you already know FICO stuff, and you know Simple Finance also. I'm not, you know, what I'm trying to understand is, it's like, okay, you know, before you have asset accounting, controlling and all that stuff, right? So when you post something up, you know, like, okay, it's going to the header table, it's going to the, you know, like, line item level. Now, you know, like the whole thing is changed after the migration. You know, you still have some header tables, but you still have, you know, the line item table is only one table now. So that perspective, I just want to understand, you know, how it's going to look like.
Okay.
Because what I was trying to understand is, like, you know, like when you read the documentation, they're talking about, you know, pre-migration, you know, and then after migration validation. So actually, we didn't even do any pre-migration, how the, you know, data is in the system. We're just following the IMG steps just to do the, you know, migration, which we don't know which data, right? We didn't even create any data.
Right.
To begin with.
Okay. Okay, so I'll try to put it some on a document the way you said. So I'll try to do that. Okay. So we are done till balances. Now the step is complete migration, and here it says calculate initial depreciation value. So after completion, SAP will, let's read what SAP says. So the determination of cumulative depreciation of an asset and the posting of depreciation expense takes place in the system at different point of time. The planned depreciation is determined at each master record change and each posting on asset is updated. You use this activity to initially build planned depreciation for asset accounting. The activity is based on calculate depreciation. For more information, okay, so they are now, so they have changed the program for depreciation, and that's why they are asking for recalculation of depreciation value. So I don't know how many of you have seen the previous depreciation screen. Let me show you. This screen is completely changed. Okay, can you see my screen now? So this was the initial posting screen for depreciation in FICO. It says company code, fiscal year, posting period, and then SAP gives 4 options. It says planned posting run, repeat run, restart run, and unplanned posting run. So these 4 options are basically for the way you are running the depreciation. If it is simple monthly depreciation, you say planned posting run. If you forget last month and you are running this time, then it is unplanned posting run. If your system gets something breakdown between while running the program, because this is a background program, then you have restart run. And then last one is you have repeat run, again, I think it is called also for breakdown. So there are 4 options which SAP gave, but if you see the new screen, SAP doesn't give that option. Now it says company code, asset number, sub number, and from fiscal year. Then you have the ledger and the ledger group, the accounting principles ledger group, and the which depreciation area you want to run for. And then you have total detailed no output log, the log you want to save. So this is the major change. SAP, the screen has changed. So now it is asking to run the depreciation program, calculation of depreciation now. Let's run in totals in test mode. So I'm running in a test mode as of now, and I have one asset. It says one asset process, no results. So it means there is no change because I posted post migration. So that's why it's saying no change. Otherwise, it will post some delta based on method change or something, but program is successful. There is no issues, the green light, but there is no financial posting happening because of this program. So then we can do this and uncheck the test run, and then we can do and execute in background. This is a background program. So here system will calculate AFAR is the recalculation program where system will give you the new values of the depreciation. How does AFAB look like? So this is AFAB. Reconcile and compare migrated data. So here you have the step, perform the following comparisons and reconciliation for migrated data and ledgers to ensure that migration has been performed successfully. So here are a lot of checks coming in. Reconciliation ledgers, general GL0 with leading ledger 0L. To do this, perform GCAC. If you have used currency ledger, reconcile this with use this program. All these programs have to be run. This is a list of programs. All these programs need to be run so that you reconcile what you have posted and is there any issue with the migration. These programs will give you, each program. These will give you basically the clear picture of what was supposed to be migrated and what has been migrated. Something happened to system. And once you reconcile all those programs, then you have set migration to complete. So what this will do is, let's read the documentation first, otherwise some activities are irrevocable. You set the migration to complete if you said that you are allowed to post again to make posting in the system. If you do not set the migration to complete, user will not be able to make the posting. Okay, so that's fine. We have set migration to complete. Anyone of you have heard about OpenSAP?
Yeah.
Yes, Nitin, I have heard of it.
So OpenSAP yesterday launched a simple finance course. If any of you want to register.
Yeah, I've already registered for it. It's starting in March, right?
Yeah, starting in March. Yesterday,
March, yeah.
I saw the email. They sent. It's starting on 8th March, I think. What happened to my system? Activities after migration. There are some activities like transfer application indexes. What is this? Okay, so here this is the basis activity where you migrate, you put the define your cold database and hot database, and then before you do this activity, it says this business function needs to be active. DAAG, data aging, is active in your system. So there is a business function activation, and then it will transfer to the indexes. Put it here. Activities.
Hey, Nathan, I have a question.
Yes.
What is the functional consumptive role in this migration thing? This can be done by a technical or basis team. You're just executing the commands in IMG, right? What is the
Yes.
functional consultant going to be doing?
All those reconciliations. The error we face, GL account, primary, secondary cost element. Functional consultant can understand what is primary, what is secondary. If something happens wrong between FICO and simple finance, then functional consultant is the only one who can understand that where is the issue. If you see
So only for that reason you need functional consultant, because I don't see any other anything other, because it's just the IMG step. You don't have you're not doing any pre-configuration, or you're not setting up the system.
system is already set up. That's what I said. FICO system is set up. You just have to migrate your tables. You have to migrate your data. So that is the migration.
So my point is, it's like, okay, I'm taking this training. I'm going as a functional consultant, right? To do the migration.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you think I'll be ready for this job
Yes.
with your training?
Yes.
How?
You should be.
So far, there's like one time we need stuff, right? Where you need to have a prior knowledge of FICO, where, you need to know the transaction FS00, where you go change your, primary to secondary, right? Secondary to primary, basically.
Mm-hmm. So that SS, if you talk about that transaction, that is SAP change the transaction. Previously, SS00 was not supposed to have primary, secondary. So this is a change. Previously,
Okay.
it was other different transactions to change primary and secondary. But with Simple Finance, SAP give it in SS00. That's again a new learning.
Okay.
Yeah. There were multiple transactions previously, FS00, 01, 02, then again KE01, CO transaction. Then SAP combined everything into one screen. So that's why I explained that screen, what has been changed and what was visible previously. So all those screens were changed actually.
So, like you were saying we almost done, we have a week left. I don't have a clue except to go to IMG and run this activity. And based on that, why they want to hire somebody to do, especially in US, I mean, like, I don't know, in India and Europe maybe it's different, but here, as a Simple Finance S/4HANA, this is not going to be enough. That's what I'm saying. So far, whatever I'm learning in your class, like I don't know what ECC would look like, and I don't know how to validate the data after we did the migration.
I sent you some configuration document. Did you had a look or try to configure a company code in the system?
No, I know how to do all that stuff. I can look at the documents and configure all this, because even the stuff you're showing me, I already have a document for all that. But my point is, I need to understand. I need to go. So basically, this configuration and all that is like about 20% of your job. 80% of your job, you're sitting in front of the business team and trying to sell them. Why why they have to do this? So, I'm taking this training with you. I just want to understand that. So far, I'm not even getting it. That's why I said, show me a video where, this is how that, architecture looked like before, and after that, it's going to look like this.
Previously, there was a migration from classic to new. Now it is new to Simple Finance. And these are not something, where business processes are changing. Only when you do the migration in the system, only technical things changes, like tables changes at the background, some transaction changes, program changes. It is not something you are designing a new business process where you have to sit 80% of the time with the business. So it's not an implementation project, it's a migration. You are migrating
But I'm getting trained for, not for the migration consultant. I'm getting trained as a Simple Finance consultant. A lot of company I know, like they don't even have SAP yet. If they're bringing SAP, I'm going as a, a finance consultant. I need to understand on that. That's my point.
So the code content was all focused on migration. It was not focused on new implementation or new business.
It's focused on Simple Finance. If I'm looking at code, it's focused on Simple Finance. But Simple Finance doesn't mean it's just all migration.
It's all migration. That's what I'm trying to say. Hold on. Okay. If you see at the course content AC100, what does it say? Migration. Simple Finance on-premise addition migration. It's clearly saying if you are only migrating. It's all migration. You see, GL for migration, asset for migration, CO for migration, analysis of the results of migration. What we are doing currently, performing the migration. It's all migration. Nowhere it says we are trying to configure new system, new box. Because box is already configured in FICO. You just have to migrate your database, or you can say system tables from new to Simple Finance, or whatever, classic to new and then new to Simple Finance, whatever the case is as per the requirement. But ultimate objective is to reach having seen the data in XDOCA, and when you post new documents, it should go to XDOCA, not in BSEG or any other system, any other table.
So that's for AC100 you're talking about?
Yes.
So we're going to cover this reporting options and all that stuff yet?
Which one? I'm going to cover Central Finance, so these two are same options. So I'm going to cover Central Finance. I have that in my bucket.
Okay, and then accounting powered by HANA 110.
So if you see here, it's all repeated. You see point number, these 4 points above in also in the analysis of architecture of HANA 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. It's all repeated. Overview process of migration of Simple Finance.
So introduction and analysis are same, you said?
Which one? This one. Analysis is already there. You see point number 3, point number 1.
Okay.
All these 4 points and these 4 points are same. It's just a repetition. You see.
So okay. So are you getting my point, right? So okay, I'm going as a migration consultant, right? So how do I like
I also
convince the client? So
I also went as a migration. I also went as a migration consultant. I didn't went as a business process consultant, because processing FICO, Simple Finance does not have. I haven't done any new implementation for Simple Finance, so I have done migration. So I also went as a migration consultant, where interaction was less with the users, and it was making ready the system was main task, and to do a prototype and in the sandbox and show them how system works, and having the feedback, and then doing the actual migration. So it's actually migration consultant. If you see on LinkedIn, a lot of consultants, people have written, whoever has written that they are Simple Finance consultant. They have written, even I have written the same. That they are migration consultant, because if you know if you learn FICO process wise, and then if you write migration consultant, it should be enough, because Simple Finance is all about migration. Even if you see new GL requirements, just put it Google, new GL migration requirement. They always ask for, they don't ask for new GL consultant, they ask for new GL migration consultant. I can share some job postings which I receive, and all those are new GL migration consultant. Because it's all task is all related to migration. There is nothing new. There are few configurations. Yes, I agree. Like here, as we solved that day, there are some technical settings like what SAP has changed, like asset accounting. They have changed something. So there you do some additional new configurations in bits and pieces. But since your asset accounting system is set, then you need not to do 100% configuration, but to make the system technically ready for Simple Finance requirement, whatever SAP has given technically, you do other configuration. That's what I'm saying. So
okay.
So the whole objective.
If you get a chance, because I'm looking at I don't know anybody saw anything. I'm looking at Simple Finance job So it doesn't anywhere in US at least. I don't see any jobs that say only migration consultant.
What they're asking?
It's a simple finance. They're talking about all the finance stuff. They don't say. I mean, like, and I don't. You know what? I don't even see them many jobs because like you said, this is something new. In US, it's not. They're not catching up to this yet. But that's the reason. We said, okay, let's jump into this stuff, something new, and that's going to help us.
I have received few postings from US, and I'll share those with you. I'll share those emails with you. So there you will see, they are looking for migration only, and I'll share those job postings with you. I have lot of them from US.
So when we prepare our resumes, we're just going to talk about the migration part.
Simple finance migration, write S4HANA migration consultant. That you should write. Should be the key.
Okay.
Yes. You should write simple finance migration consultant. If you see my LinkedIn profile, it's clearly mentioned what I have written. You can go on your laptops and check. I have clearly written S4HANA migration consultant. That's what the word I have used. You can check and see my LinkedIn profile. I have written the same word in the header. I have not written simple finance consultant. I have written simple finance migration consultant. Because if you from money perspective, consultant earn less, but migration consultant are really key and they have a good scope. If you see today, NewGL consultant still have a good scope. NewGL migration consultant. FICO consultant and NewGL migration consultant, they both have different functionalities.
Okay. So, I understand what the process we're going through, right? This is all the IMG steps we just need to follow, all the way through. But my concern, Nitin, is okay. When I'm at the client side, right? This is not happening right away. I need to, I just want to learn, from your experience, basically at the project level. Like in the implementation projects, you have, project preparation, then you have blueprinting, all that steps, right? So the migration project, obviously, I have several implementation projects, okay? So more 80% of my time, as a functional consultant, it goes in presentations, and gathering requirements, right? So from that point of view, what I need to get from you is basically, how do we do that for this project? This is just a matter,
For this phase, you have to go to client and you have to understand how the existing SAP works. That's number one task.
Right, whether they have a classical GL or new GL, right?
So, apart from that, all those project preparation and jobs.
So what I'm saying is before you call off this class, that's the experience you have going through all this project. We want to learn that.
Yeah, so that I'll share. That's what I said. All those PMO things you can leave apart, like preparation of project plan and all those, budget and all those things. Those are not a concern for you. So your job starts, when you sit with the finance guys, or their SAP team or whatever technical team they gave. Your first question should be, what's your current landscape? That should be the first question. How you operate business today? How many currencies do you have? How many ledgers do you have? Are you in classic or are you in new? If you are new, have you activated document splitting? What is the logic of document splitting?
Do you have some kind of a questionnaire? Like you need to follow it?
Unfortunately, these things are not documented. It is just, as I did, I go into projects and I did the same thing. So I'm just sharing the real-time experience, how I started and how with in the first meeting with the client and what questions I throw to the client, then they come up with the answers, and then on a document, and then based on their document we go into their SAP system and see what they have written and what is there in the system, and then come up with the issues like currency can be one of the issues. Some of the benefits can also be there, like if they don't have ledgers, then we have to recommend, okay, you have to use additional ledger, appendix ledger. Now appendix ledger is one of the areas. The client will say, okay, why we want to use, what is the use of this ledger? Then in a workshop to the client, we have to explain what is appendix ledger and why you want to use, why you are recommending appendix ledger. It might be a technical requirement in SAP. In simple finance, that appendix ledger is required for so and so purpose, and these things will not be met. But client needs to get convinced before they create additional ledger, because ledger is impacting their financial reporting, and they don't want to compromise in the financial. So you have to convince on them. Then
obviously, because otherwise, without their signing off, they cannot move anywhere, right?
Yeah,
that's the process.
Then another question client will throw to you is, what happened to my existing customization? So then you will ask, give me the documentation, what all you have done. Let me analyze and come back. Then you have to analyze all those customizations, and you have to see which tables have been used, are the totals tables or the line item tables. Based on tables, you have to analyze all those customizations, and then you have to analyze the impact of those along with the technical guy. So it's not that you just have to execute these steps. In real time, you have to understand client's requirement, what asset version they are using. Are they ready to use new asset accounting? Then you have to explain, these are the additional things you have to do in new asset accounting. These are the benefits, these are the pros, and these are the cons. Then the client says, no, I don't want to use new asset accounting. It happened with me. Then unfortunately the answer was simple, you don't have option to use classic asset accounting. You have to use only new. That's what SAP is saying. This is standard SAP. Then unfortunately,
actually, I mean, like they're saying only few options they cannot use, right? The parallel accounting and all that. You can still work, because the stuff I'm reading, maybe I'm wrong. With classic GL, there's like the new options you have with the new GL, like a parallel accounting and a few other options. That's not possible. That's what my understanding was.
Asset accounting, classic asset accounting, there is no option available. You have to use new asset accounting.
I thought you can still do the migration with the classical GL, but with parallel.
No, you are talking about GL or asset. That's the number one question. I'm talking about new asset accounting.
No, I'm talking about classical GL or new GL.
Yes,
that's what I'm
talking about. You can do. I mean, you can go to the light version of new GL, and that you can do.
Okay.
Right. So now, if client agrees, client has to agree for new asset accounting, then you will ask, okay, give me that. When you go to the configuration, you will say, give me technical clearing account. Now, if you are writing a new GL account in the chart of account, that is a question for their financial reporting team. They say, okay, where this account will roll up into my hierarchy, right? It's not you just create the account. You have to roll up that account in their account reporting hierarchy, what they are reporting to the authorities and all those things.
So then you have this point, I don't even understand that. You didn't explain this point to us.
Which one?
The one you're talking. I don't even understand that.
I explained. There is an additional account GL account required, in new asset accounting. It's known as technical clearing account. We discussed this, and I faced this situation. Client asked, okay, we can give you account. That's fine. It's a 2-minute job, and we will update our golden chart of account. But the question is, when reporting teams come, they say where this account will roll up into my hierarchy. When I report to my financial numbers, where this account will come, then I have to give the node, okay, this is, then you have to explain the entire purpose of that account, that what will be the balance sitting in that account. If that account is getting 0, 100% every time, then does it matter that if they roll up or not? So all those things, these are functional things. Those you have to explain to the client. So that's what I said, it's not only you execute these IMG steps. There are a lot of things behind the scenes. You have to work with the client to get, their information, what they do currently, how they operate, new things coming up, new functionality, simple finance, giving, then you have to convince them on those. Okay.
Okay. So going back to the course content, so we pretty much doing AC 100 right now. Then AC 110 have few additional topics like a cash manage, customization of bank account, cash operation, all that stuff, right?
It is there. It is there in my bucket. Don't worry about that. Theory is there in my bucket. I'll take a session on theory. I'll take on that bank, cash, credit, all those things. It is there with me. Don't worry.
Okay. And so I'm sorry, class. I had something like my head's spinning. That's why I'm trying to clear myself up. So for the certification, I still need to go back and do 3-4 different topics from previous FICO stuff.
So try to learn new things. So yes, try to learn new FICO things, because since you are new to FICO, but those things are not something mandatory for simple finance. So it's recommended to have.
No, for the certification class to be certified in this. For simple
so you
finance.
need not to go to FICO. You need not to go to FICO.
No.
No, you can directly apply for simple finance certification.
With the stuff you're teaching, that's the only thing I need?
Yes. But I would recommend, before you go, don't go it immediately after the class. Try to learn some basic FICO things, explore yourself, and when you are comfortable, then you enroll for the class. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay. All right, Nitin. Thanks.
Okay. So coming back to migration activities after migration, we just did this, where SAP checks all the hot aging and all the aging things. Transfer of, then here it displays the same thing. So we have not yet executed this step because we have to activate the business function first. Then you see the status. So you see every line, after every activity, SAP is giving the status. Fill due dates in FI documents. So what happened here is, you use this activity to fill new due dates filled in FI line item for customer and vendor that have baseline date. So based on baseline date in your customer vendor document, SAP puts the new dates actually, which are known as due dates. So presently to our baseline dates, all those due dates are filled. SAP fill it automatically based on each document because it's not something a generic thing that you put a same date everywhere. Fill due date. Then same thing, display, and then the fill offsetting account in FI document. What does it mean? During data migration, you transfer FI documents. As a part of this process, you should use this customizing to fill the offsetting account in FI document. So offsetting account basically is when you migrate your accounting documents. This report will fill the following fields in the table. In BSEG and BSEG add, offsetting account number, offsetting account type, and GL account for offsetting. So when you migrate the data from BSEG to XDoc, it's a one-sided migration. All debits get there, it's a one-sided. So to nullify your trial balance, debits, at the end it will be 0. As you do in normal migration, when we migrate, if today let's say I'm migrating my total AP GL balances to SAP, forget simple finance and simple SAP. What I did, I simply take all the debits. Let's say $100 is my total debit. Then I credit the offsetting account or the migration account. $100, and then when I take all the credits, I take $100 credit and debit migration account. So at the end, migration account is 0, but to have the balance entry, give debit and credit equally to SAP, this account is required. So first you have to define the document type, the account determination here. In preparation, this we already did SAP, we used the SAP recommended option, and then again the next step is this report will fill the following field in BSEG and BSEG: offsetting account numbers, account type, and GL account for offsetting account in GL accounting. Fill offsetting account and specified document. And the last step is, this is display. The last step is migrate your house bank. You migrate all your banks, all the house banks you have created in ECC. Okay, connectivity path of accounts in remote systems, and do you want to migrate if yes, and execute the program. You have to select the bank. There is no bank created at the moment. So all your house banks are being migrated at this point, and you have to implement this body first. You can use this program to migrate your existing house bank data, to define the logic of deriving bank account number from house bank data, create body implementations using this body. So there is a mapping of house bank to the bank account number. So this body will do that mapping, and then you can migrate. So the body implementation is again a technical job. Technical team will migrate the body, and then you execute this step. So the prerequisite is this body has to be implemented. So this is the place.
Hi Nitin, this is a concern which I have, which is like this test system or the training system doesn't have any data at all. So almost all the steps which we migrated came up with no data. So because there's no actual data, right? So do you think? I mean, like I feel that even for at least like if you're going to buy a car, if you want to test drive a car, you will actually test drive a car, right? Not actually watch a video. I'm thinking, I mean, like, without any data, for me, it actually doesn't make a lot of sense to even come up with a story, like to talk to a client, right? So do you think at some point we will get a system with some data to practice migration?
So I can check with the Varantech team. As of now, they have given this system. I can check. Indeed, I asked them to punch some data before the install, but they gave me a lot of technical things. We did this HANA and all those. So they
should we go ask them if you're having trouble, because I have the same concern. Because without any real stuff, this is just a simple step we're just going to follow, right? We have to struggle, because every project is not going to be simple. Not even a small stuff you do in SAP is simple, right? You need to struggle a lot to crash to one point to another.
Even if they punch the data in the system, let's say, assuming 1% chances that they punch the data in the system, but that does not make sure. Let's say they punch 10 transactions, right? That does not make sure that all the issues you face with any client you face here. So that's a thing, because actual production system of any client will have a lot of data, because they are a full operational running system. But Since it is a test system, we can try and if they punch 10, 20, 15 transactions, that does not suffice because the steps would be same and it's not possible. I don't think so because I also learned, simple finance before I did the project and I did the same way. I did on few transactions, but all those were fine. So we went ahead, but when we did actual migration, then there were a lot of transactions, integrations and things coming up because they have all partner systems, data sending, CRM and all those supply chain and all those systems, partner systems sending data. Then the actual stories begin. So that's the only thing which I want to say. You can request Zanantech team. I have already tried. I think we have already completed the migration. So at this point, the only thing, the way to punch the data in this system is they have to refresh entire system. They have to refresh entire box. That's the only choice they have.
I mean, I was thinking if they have an IDAS system, IDAS systems usually have transactional data as well, right?
SAP did not release any IDAS for HANA. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I have checked this myself. SAP haven't released any IDAS for HANA box or a simple finance box. So
but can we not migrate an IDAS system into a simple finance if we have all the software and hardware?
So all these things are there's all the complications involved, but there is no box available. That's the issue.
Yeah.
And again, from learning perspective, every client, you will face challenges. One client will when you migrate for one client, their CRM data will fail. For another client, their Ariba data will fail. So it's complex for each client. So you cannot not learn. In training you can learn the process. How things get executed and what are the things may come up. But for every client, the requirements are different. And every client data is different.
I agree. I mean, but just doing something without any data at all. I was thinking at least we should have some base set of data. I mean, like maybe that's what we should have started with. Like the first week, I was thinking instead of jumping into migration, maybe we should have set up some test data. But I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out myself to see how we can.
I tried, but the problem is, they already installed the box. The HANA box. It was stopping me saying regenerate CDS views. I also tried the same thing, but then it stopped me because they said you have installed the Simple Finance add-on. Now you first migrate and then you can post anything. It was not allowing me to post. I was trying to create test data in the system.
Okay.
So is it possible for them to refresh the system again?
It's not that easy to refresh the system.
And I mean, like another thing is like even if the CDS views were not generated until last Friday, and by the time we complete this part, it'll be like end of next week or the following week, and then we have the system only for till like first week of March, so that doesn't leave us with a lot of time to practice.
I have a solution for you. So they are refreshing this box in March. So that's what I think. So what you can do, you guys have access to this. I don't know how long they are providing you the access to the system.
They've provided only till March, so we have to request for extension.
Yes. So they are, I think, refreshing on 15th or 20th March that week. In that refresh, you can ask them, post some data, and then you can re-execute these steps on your own. And if you face any issues, you can come back to me, through blog or through whatever ways.
Sure.
And then I can help you guys, or if required, I can have additional session at that point, 1 or 2 hours to help you guys.
Okay. And Nathan, do you know if they are doing the 1511 system or 1502 or 3?
So this is 1503. In March, they are making it 1511. So that's what they confirmed. They sent me email in March. When they refresh, it will be 1511 system.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Yeah. So then if you get an extension of the system, then you will have 1511 system, and you can try on your own, and then in case of any issues, you can come back to me.
Or actually, as soon as they refresh the system, at least I'll try to create some test data before migration.
No, but this time I have asked them, before they refresh or install HANA box, put some data, the financial data, and then install the box, so that because once they install the HANA, then we cannot do anything. It will stop us again for CDS view. It will not allow us.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have asked them to put the data first and then put the HANA add-on on the top.
Okay. So I think you'll have to explain the situation to them. I don't know how good or bad Zerentech is.
No,
I'm going to talk to them tomorrow.
Explaining to them should not be a problem. I'll explain.
Yeah. At least we'll need 1.5 months to 2 months after the 1511 system is available to practice, like let's say, all the new configuration or to set up a new company code and all that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There is another batch going on, and they will get in the mid of their classes they will get the updated systems. Probably what will happen is I may ask if required, you guys can join that session for one or 2 days, and then you can see the new box and how it is working.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. So this completes the activities after migration. So preparation for migration and then migration, these 2 steps are complete. And we have documented everything, step by step. All these steps are there on this document, which I will share with you guys. Any questions? No questions?
Nitin, so in the beginning of the course, you mentioned that Simple Finance works only with business partners and not customer and vendors. So at some point, those will have to be migrated as well, right? So I did not see that step in the migration.
1511. So in 1503, SAP gives the option you use customer, vendor, or business partners, and then 1511 they say you have to mandatorily use business partners.
Okay.
So the moment this box gets converted into 1511, you will see additional steps, like material ledger, you will see additional steps. So you will see few additional steps, the moment box is migrated.
Okay. That's a major change. Like from a functional side,
Yes.
it's like the whole BP concept is the BP roles and all that. It's a different concept.
Yep.
Okay, we'll see. So the migration project which you worked on, was it on 1503 or was it on 1511?
It was 1503. Then they are in process of migration to 1511. So I'm now again. They have recently started, week or 2 weeks back. So now I'm in 1511 migration. So they are now upgrading the system.
Okay.
Well, I'll also learn few new things, when we migrate, because whatever I explained you and I learned on the same box, because I completed my project in November and then SAP came up with the new release. So I will also learn new things, when I do this migration project or upgrade project from 1503 to 1511. Okay, just trying the BP. I think new release is still not out. Except for 14 January, I haven't received any invitation, but let's hope they are releasing from 14 February. Okay. So what all we have? We are done with this. Then we have theory, cash management. Two things are remaining main. Then I'll share some examples of real-time things like I just today. I think I shared a lot of things today. The how to interact with the client initially. I try to document those if I get time. I cannot commit that I'll document everything based on my experience, but I'll try to do as much as I can if I get time over the weekend. Okay. So I was planning to start with theory. Shall we start from next class or how you want to go?
Next class is okay with me.
Can I share one slide set with you guys? But this is the one which I just prepared. So I have put a lot of details about new GL functionality, document splitting, zero balance clearing account, and all these things. I haven't shared this slide with you guys yet, so you guys can go through these slides and have a quick look. These are FICO functionalities that will help you in simple finance also. Okay.
Nathan, are we going to cover some reporting here also?
We will cover central finance. Central finance is the reporting option. So central finance. There is no additional for reporting. It's central finance function actually. There is additional function in SAP. I'll cover central finance.
So because of HANA, I don't think they have another reporting box, BIBW anymore, right? Because everything should be here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So what we will cover is we will cover how central finance works and how reporting can be helpful, and how those reports we can get out of Fiori and how Fiori works. So all those things will get covered in Fiori and central finance.
And your client have multiple boxes.
Yes, they have.
Okay. Okay. So you're going to share that because the more to understand how the CRM data and all that stuff is going to be.
That's how central finance. That's how central finance comes into picture. So I'll explain you how that works.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we can start the next class on these two topics. We'll start with overview of Fiori and then we will move to central finance, right? And the next target would be after that would be cash management, IBP, and then I'll share the project with you.
Nathan, I have a general question. Actually, a question on new GL split document splitting. So if I don't know about your clients. If a client goes with new GL, are they using the leading ledger as a split ledger, or are they using one of the non-leading ledgers as split ledger?
So ledgers are not specific to split functionality. They normally use the logic of splitting. So normally profit center is the main logic of splitting, that they want to split based on profit center. So that's what my slide, the one I showed here. You see this. So this is based on profit center.
But can you not assign only one ledger to a splitting method? There's only one.
Normally client don't do that, because otherwise their local ledger will get spoiled. They will not do any analytics on local ledger. So if you see this screen, if you see the ledger group is blank, right?
Yeah.
This means it is done at all the ledgers, not any specific to ledger. If it is blank, if there is some value, then it is ledger specific.
Okay, so the splitting happens across all ledgers.
Yes, absolutely.
So is it at a client level or is it at a company code level setting?
It's normally at a client level.
Client level.
If the client is doing in one company code, then we normally do in all.
Okay. So now, when there is this splitting activator, in some cases the number of line items can exceed 999. Right. So how is NewGL handling that?
So NewGL is handling that in a traditional way. NewGL posts it into zero balance clearing account and complete one document, and it posts another document and posts another, it posts multiple documents, and to balance the line items it uses zero balance clearing account.
So at the time of splitting itself, so it's at the time of document posting, it creates a zero balance item,
Yes.
is it?
It comes into picture immediately.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So from next session we will start with some Fiori, right? And we will move with these two things. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. See you guys next session. Bye bye.